this is basically how your cybersecurity project CV is going to look like once you complete doing this project. Basically, these are all the skills you are going to learn. You're going to learn how to deploy Windows Server. You're going to implement RDP. You're going to design and apply. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome again to this video. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you a very simple project that you can do in cybersecurity if you are looking for a job in cybersecurity. Now, this is a project in cloud security and cybersecurity, and to do this project, all you just need is computer. You just need a computer or a laptop. You don't need a very strong computers. You don't need to buy anything extra. You don't need 500 gigabytes of storage or anything. Just have any computer with internet connection and you will be able to carry out these projects. Now, remember, in my channel, I teach you about cybersecurity. I teach you how to hack. I give you free resources. So if you're someone that is interested in free resources in cybersecurity, or you're interested in building cybersecurity projects to get a job in cybersecurity, then you are in the right channel. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, as this is what I'll be dropping. These are the videos I'll be dropping in this channel. So basically, for this project, like I said, all you just need is a computer. Now, once you have a computer, now you just need to sign up on Microsoft Learn, and everything you are going to do is on Microsoft Learn. You don't need Azure credit to do this. You don't need any cloud security subscription or anything. So I'm going to walk you through the process. Now, the first thing you're going to do is to visit this URL. Now, this is the blog I wrote. I'm still going to attach the link to this blog to this YouTube, my YouTube bio. So if you want a write-up of this particular project, then you can go to the blog and read it. Now, let me walk you through the process. Now, the first thing you're going to do is to create an account on Microsoft Learn. And like I said, I'm going to walk you through step by step. So if I'm saying create an account, then I'm going to be creating the account with you. If I'm saying that you should do a particular thing, then I'm going to be doing every single thing on this video. Now, let's create an account. You click on sign in at the top right, depending on where it is on your screen. You click on create now, then you put your email address. So I'm going to quickly copy my email address and put there. Put your email address, put a password. Let's continue. Let's put 9. Okay, so they're going to send a verification code. I think it should take you less than 1 minute to complete this step. And once you are done completing this step, I'm going to walk you through, capture. I'm going to walk you through what this project is all about. Okay, all right, let's do this. We basically have to prove that we are humans. Now, we are signed in. Click on next, display name. You can just put anything. I put demo because this is my demo account. Let's select. You can select your country. All right, now this is a very simple project. This is a very simple project that I thought, okay, what could any beginner in cybersecurity and cloud security do? And I thought of this project, and this is a very important experience and very important knowledge that you need to succeed, whether in cybersecurity and cloud security, because it's more like the fundamentals. Now, what's the project? The project is basically about building a virtual machine on Microsoft Azure. And if you know what Microsoft Azure is a cloud provider, just like Google Cloud Platform and AWS. If you've heard of Google and AWS, now Microsoft Azure is one of the famous cloud providers. And now, what we are going to be doing, or what this project is all about, is building building a virtual machine, a Windows virtual machine on Microsoft Azure. And this is basically how it's going to look on your CV. Now, I quite understand that as a beginner in cybersecurity, gaining experience is very, very um difficult, especially when it's needed to get a job right now. But if you're able to prove or show cybersecurity project, I mean, that will be a complement of experience, and it will help you, or it will boost your chances of getting that first cybersecurity job that you need to get experience. Because basically, you need experience to get experience. And I mean, if a job cannot give you experience, then projects is the best way of gaining experience. And if you are watching me, then you are lucky, as my YouTube channel, I'll be putting a whole lot of cybersecurity project, and I will always make it as simple as possible so anyone could follow through. Now, this is how it's going to look like I said, but then I'm going to still show you how all the CV looks like, because this is just a portion of my CV, as you can see. So make sure you watch to the end, so I will show you how the format of the CV is, and I can also give you some insights on how to go about it and adding it to your CV. Now, let's continue. If you've created an account, according to my guide, I'm still working on this guide anyways, but according to my guide, I mentioned you should go to product documentation, then go to Azure, then click on virtual machine. Now, once you've signed up, depending on wherever you are, whether you are here or wherever you are, you should be able to see learn. So if you are not seeing it, then go back again, copy this link again, and paste on your browser. It should lead you to an interface where you will see the Microsoft Learn interface basically. Now, if you click on product documentation, you go to Azure. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm using product documentation is because they are going to provide us with Sandbox. Now, what's a Sandbox? Sandbox is more like an environment, a stimulated environment where you can practice and build. Because if you are to do this on your main without a sandbox, then you're going to need an Azure subscription. But then I'm still going to show you how to get free Azure credits and money in Azure. So all these informations are what I'm going to give out in my channel. Now, if you click on product documentation, you click on Azure, it's going to bring you to different documentation for Azure. Now, we are going to look for virtual machines, because what we are trying to do, we are trying to build a virtual machine. Now, if you go over to virtual machine, you look for create a Windows virtual machine in Azure. You are trying to create a Windows. If you want to still try out your hands on Linux, you can go ahead and try it out, because these are all the experience that we are talking about. But for this particular video, I'm working on Windows. Maybe for subsequent videos, I can work on Linux and different other uh, experiences that you can possibly gain. Now, like I said, creating a Windows virtual machine is an important experience, because it's more like the fundamentals, right? Let's say if you are trying to, or if your company is trying to run a test environment on a cloud platform, maybe run a product environment, a production environment, or your company, or maybe you work in an organization whereby you're asked, okay, we need to quickly spin up a server. So whenever it's mentioned to spin up a server, or to start up a server, or to create an instance, usually in AWS, which is also a cloud provider, if it's in AWS, now people can easily say spin up an instance. Now, instance is the same thing as virtual machine, is the same thing as VM, is the same thing as, so wherever you hear instance, server, cloud, or VM or whatever. Now, and if you've done this, you can confidently tell whoever that is asking you that yes, I have experience in this and I can do this. Right now, once you click on Azure and click on create VM, it's going to bring you to this page. Now, I'm going to still tell you why I wanted us to use this documentation. Now, if you click on this documentation now, you are going to find instructions on how to do this, right? Let me close this tab. You're going to find instructions on how to do this. Now, you click on start. Now, once you click on start, you can go ahead and read this down. You can see the introduction. Imagine that you work for a company that does video data processing and pattern analysis. You're building a new prototype platform to process the video from traffic cameras and all this. Now, basically, what we are trying to understand, I don't want to go ahead and read all this, but yeah, Azure provides a robust virtual machine hosting solution that can meet your needs. Now, our learning outcome for this particular project is to understand the options that are available for virtual machines in cloud, to create a Windows virtual machine using Azure Portal, to connect a running Windows virtual machine using RDP or remote desktop. Now, this is also a knowledge that is very basic, but surprisingly, I've met a lot of people that don't know about RDP or have not used RDP. So it's part of what we are going to do, because basically in any organization that you work in cybersecurity, definitely you're going to be using RDP. Your everyday life, you're going to be using RDP. So if you're someone that haven't used RDP or maybe remote desktop, then you are in the right channel. Now, lastly, okay, we might not get to do this, but let's see, as because this is not majorly what I want us to gain as experience. But then once you've clicked on start, now you go to the exercise, or you can just go ahead and click on next. Then click, you will find the instructions on what to do. We are still going to follow these instructions. We are still going to use this instruction, and I've also more like made it easier on my blog as well by adding those instructions. You can go ahead and read my blog. I added the link here, link to blog. You can go ahead and read it. It will give you easier insights, as I added screenshots with indications and all. And I also made some explanations as well. So if you want to use my blog, then you can go ahead and use my blog, right? Because yeah, I provided a whole lot of information. Now, back to here, you scroll down again and click on next. Now we are looking for a particular unit, which is unit 3. Now, once you get to unit 3, you are going to verify this your account. You're going to verify your account. Let's submit. Verification complete. Now, why do I want you to verify your account? So you'll be able to gain access to the sandbox where you can create this virtual machine. Right now, remember, the reason why we are using Sandbox is because if you are to do this on your main account, you are going to be asked to pay, or it depends on the billing anyways, because but it bills you according to how long the virtual machine has been up, and then you still need Azure credits, you still need money to be able to do this on your own account. But with this Sandbox, you don't need any money to do this, and you don't even need a very strong PC to do this. Which with whichever PC you have, be it 1991 laptop, you can still do this conveniently. Now, let's review permissions. I'm sure none of our viewers are using 1999 laptop, but yeah, click on review permissions, then click on accept. Right now, once you click on accept, it will start spinning up the sandbox. So give it some time. Give it some time. For some people, you might encounter some issues with this, especially when maybe you've used one or two sandbox, because for this sandbox you have just 1 hour and then 10 attempts in a day. For every day you have 10 chances to use the sandbox every day. So And for every time you spin up the sandbox, you have just 1 hour to do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to show you now. You've seen, as you can see here, you have used one of 10 sandbox for today. Time remaining 59 minutes. So we basically have 59 minutes to do whatever we want to do with this sandbox. And I'm going to show you how to access this sandbox. To access this sandbox, you just scroll down to the instructions that you need. Then you're going to see sign into the Azure portal, right? Just click on it and it will start working. To start building up your sandbox and to start spinning up. You click on next. So let's close this. So it's going to ask for you to set up authentication. Hmm. Different method. Can we use a different method? Okay, I think we must have to do authentication. So let's quickly authenticate. So I have my device with me. $46. All right, so click on done to keep working on your sandbox. Basically, this is the step by step. So everything you are seeing now is everything you are going to see. So like I said, if you work on this, trust me, you already experienced with Azure, and this is just the simple thing that you need to understand. For anybody that is starting out in cybersecurity, you need an experience for cloud, and the basic ways you can get experience is by one, doing this project, then two, writing the AZ 500 exam. That's the Azure Fundamental exam. So even when you start preparing for the Azure Fundamental exam, you are still going to see some questions that are coming out from here. So doing this project not only helps you with cybersecurity experience, but it will also help you in your cloud exams if you are sitting for one. So let's click on get started and skip. You don't want to, you got it. And now this is where we are. So let me see if I can place this. Can I place this side by side? Let me see if I can do that. Yes. So now it's side by side. Now let's do this now. The first step is to sign into Azure portal. Then the next one is to configure the VM settings. Okay, so two on the Azure portal under Azure services, select create a resource. Now under Azure services, this is Azure services, right? You click on create a resource. Now once you click on create a resource, now in the search services and marketplace search box, look for Windows Server. You are looking for Windows Server. Now this is the marketplace. Let's search for Windows Server. Now we are looking for Windows Server by Microsoft now. This is it, Windows Server by Microsoft. We have other type of services, but we are looking for Windows Server by Microsoft now. Select create. Now we're going to select create. Then we are looking for small disk Windows Server 2019 data center. So you have to take your time here to make sure that you are selecting the exact one, because like I said, this is a sandbox, and if you do something different, you might encounter an issue. You might start getting error message because Microsoft is going to think that maybe you are trying to game the system, or you are trying to use this to access other resources that on a normal you are supposed to pay for it. So make sure you are using the exact one that they told you to use. Now this is what we are looking for. SmallDix 2029 data center, right? You select it and click on create. I think it's created now. You select it, then click on create. Now, configure the VM settings. Now, what we are going to do is to start configuring the VM settings. Before we begin configuring these VM settings, I want to remind you that if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, as this is the only way I can continue doing content like this. So if you are looking for project experience, a cybersecurity project for a resume, make sure you are subscribed, because if I see more subscriptions, then I will continue pushing out contents and continue pushing out projects, and I will continue giving you free resources. And also, it's important that you comment your thoughts about this, and if there is anything you want me to work on, be sure that you tell me. If there is any project that you've seen that is not clear to you, let me know in the comment section. Or if there is a particular kind of thing, let's say you want to learn how to hack, or maybe you want to get a specific free resource in cybersecurity, make sure you let me know in the comment section as well. I need you to actively engage in the comment section, right? So YouTube can push out this content more and we can get more community now. Let's start configuring the VM settings. Now, the first thing you're going to do is to raise the guide. Now, this is the guide we are following. This is the guide we are following. Configure basic VM settings. Now, this is the basics tab. We are first going to work on the basics tab, then DIX, then networking, then management, then monitoring, and advanced. Right now, we are starting with the basic VM settings. For the basics VM settings, now these are the settings we are to replicate. The first one, we are going to leave it as the concierge. Now, the next one, we're going to select the learn resource group. Now, resource group is more like, see a resource group like a folder, but this is for cloud. You know, if you have a folder on your computer, on your folder, you can have your documents, you can have your pictures, you can have your videos, you can have your applications there. And if you delete that folder, everything goes with it. Now, this is the kind of work that resource group does. It more like puts everything together. So if you are working, let's say, for a test environment, you know that everything that you are using and all the services that you're using for your test environment is in there. And if you are working on production environments, you know everything is in there. So that's how resource group works. We're going to select this now. The Sandbox have already provisioned us with this resource group, so we are going to select this resource group. Now, for the name of our VM virtual machine, you can select anything you want, but let's use this. You can choose to put your name, right? You can choose to write your name. Let's say if you want to use, you can use your name. Then for the region, you select the region close to you. Now, which really region is close to me? The region close to me is let me select North Europe. For example, just work with me. I'm going to show you something now. For this place, okay, you can see that they say select a region close to you. Now accept the default. Now for the default seems to be availability. So we are going to click on the availability, then change it to no infrastructure redundancy, because this is just a test environment. We don't need redundant VMs in the case for fault tolerance or anything. So we don't need any redundancy actually. We just want to gain the experience building a VM. So for this, we are going to select for security type, we are going to select standard. Let's select standard. Then for image, now remember that all these have different use case and when you need them depending on what you are working on, and this is where the knowledge of AZ900 comes into play. So if you start for the Azure fundamental exam of AZ900, then you will be familiar with all these things, right? So if you are not yet familiar with a whole lot of things and you're someone that wants to specialize in cloud, then you need to do a whole lot of studying on the AZ900. Now let's continue. We are going to, for this is already in small disks. VM architecture accepts run size. The field isn't available now. Let's go to username and password. All these are default. We're not making any changes. Now for username and password, let's use demo. Now, I want to urge you, right? I know you have a very good memory. I know you have a very strong memory, but please, if you're working on this project, make sure you write down the username and passwords that you are using, maybe on your notes or on a paper, because 80% of the times that I've taught my students this, they tend to forget their password because the password requirement is so long, 12 characters. So you can easily forget it. So it's very important that you write it down. So for our password now, let's create a password. Let's say if you are to create something like 1, 2, 3, 4, you are going to get that you didn't meet the password requirement. So we are going to create something that is very strong. Let's say demo 1, 2, 3 at, right? Then let's write it down on our notes. Our username for this project is demo. Then our password will be, let's make it long. Demo, this same thing. Now this will be our password. Please make sure you write it down. Make sure you write it down. Then do I need to copy the link? Okay, so I'm going to update everything here and put it on the YouTube bio. So everything here, I'm going to update it here, and probably I also add a link that can directly lead you to the create, that will directly lead you here. So let me add the link. I think it makes it easier for you as well. So let me add the link here. Link to projects to make it much more easier for you. So let me clean this. I think you can just start with this one. Now, this is our password. Let's continue. This is our password. Then you paste our password here again. Then continue. Now, the next one is to configure to allow port. Now, if you've done, let's say, security plus, or you've done foundational studies in cybersecurity. So we are going to, you can remember that, you are going to remember that the RDP port, or the port number for RDP, is 3389. And it's very important that you allow port 3389 because that's the communication channel we are about to use. Because what we are creating is a Windows VM. Let's say if you are creating a Linux VM, we are going to open XSH port and telnet port. So I'm not going to tell you the port number of XSH port, but comment it in the comment section. I think it's already here, but then I want you to comment the port number of telnet and XSH in the comment section so we can interact in the comment section. So let's continue. We are going to open the open RDP port, and then, like I said, this is a very good experience. I mean, imagine during your interview and if you ask, do you have some knowledge in networks? You can say something like this: that you've configured virtual networks on Microsoft. You opened ports for communication. You opened RDP ports so that you can safely remotely access your virtual machine from your home, right? So these are the experiences that we are talking about. The more you work on this, the more you work on this. So make sure you do this project up to 2 times, because the more you work on it, the more familiar you become with the Azure environment. And trust me, if you are working especially in areas like the engineering parts of cybersecurity and technical aspects of cybersecurity, right, you are going to need a whole lot of experience, both in cloud and some experience in networks, then some experience in security. So it's more like knowing a bit about everything. So this project is going to help you a lot. And these are the things that you can write about in your CV. These are the things that you can talk about when you are going for your interviews. Now, let's select the import port This is RDP port. If I drop this down, other ports are here. We have XSH ports, we have HTTP, HTTPS. So if you are doing this project, you can drop this down. You're going to see different ports. But for this particular project, we are just opening the RDP port because we are only using RDP to access this machine that we are about to do. Because what we're about to do is to create a virtual machine now. We've finished all this aspect now, all this part. Now, the next thing is to go to the Disk tab. Let's go to the Disk tab. Now, before we go to the Disk tab, right, if you read this, you're going to see all the regions that you can use for this demo. If you use another region, you are going to get validation field where you finally click on review and create. So if you are getting validation field, it's because you've used the region outside of this region. So we use the region outside of this region. So we are going to go back and correct it now. I'm going to select West Europe. Right now, for those in probably African countries like maybe Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, depending on where you are going to just get another region here, because I think we only have one region from Africa, and it works sometimes. If you select South Africa, sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't work. That's why you need to pick one from here. You need to pick one. So for me, I'm going to use West Europe. Let's find West Europe. This is West Europe. Now let's continue to Dix. We are now moving over to the Dix tab. Now let's click on Dix. Now everything is default except the last part. So we are going to go to the last part and then accept all the default settings. Then you're going to click on create a virtual hard drive. You're going to click on this. Let's confirm if create a virtual machine. We're going to click on this. Then you click OK. That's just all we need to do here. Then we go to the network tab, which is another important aspect, because knowledge of networking is very, very important, right? Especially in doing something like this, because everything you are trying to do will be working with networks, because we are not talking about cloud, right? Let's say you have other services on your cloud environment, because what we are trying to do is to configure a network. Now, let's say if you are an organization or a company that have different services, like maybe you have web app servers on Azure, you have database servers, you have different virtual machines, you have different servers, workstations, right? You would want them to be in the same network so you can communicate with them. And the way of doing this is by creating a VM net, basically a VNet for them. Now that's what we are going to do. We are going to configure the network. Now what we are going to do, you can go ahead and read this. This is the explanation that I just gave now. So what you're going to do is on the networking tab, which is where we are, on the networking tab, now we are going to, under virtual network, click on create new. We are going to click on create new here. Then we are going to set up our virtual network here using the parameters there. So we are going to use this information there. Now accept the default name. We are going to leave this default name. Then, because this is the username, then vnet, because we're trying to configure a virtual network. Now for the address range, let's put this IP address range. Now this is IP address range that we want to work with. So let's work with this now. For the subnet name, now if you read here, check, and if other rule already exists, delete it. So let's say if you have something here already, just click on check mark and delete it. But for me, I don't have anything here, so our goal is to have just this. Now for the subnet name, we are going to write default, right? Let's use default. Then for the IP address range, let's use this IP address, right? Then we click on OK. We are done with the virtual networks. You are done with the virtual network. Select OK to save your settings. Now finish configuring the VM. Now this is basically everything that we need, basically, because the management tab for this project and for the experience that I want you to gain, this side doesn't really matter. So let's keep all this side. Now if you take the management, then you check the monitoring. We won't be making any changes in the management, monitoring, and advanced. So we are just going to click on review and create. It's going to take a bit of time, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, depending on your location, because it's trying to communicate with the region you selected. So the validation has passed. Remember, if your validation didn't pass, then you probably selected a wrong region, or your time might be up, because we have just 1 hour here, right? So if you're having issues, then two things: you take your time, and then you also take the region you selected. And also you can always let me know in the comment and I'll help you out. So let's click on create. Then let's watch it create. Finalizing deployment. Remember, if you've not subscribed to my channel up until this point, and if you've not shared this video maybe to your cybersecurity community, then you are not encouraging me to keep on doing this. So make sure you're sharing this video to your cybersecurity community, and you've subscribed and liked this video, as well as comment your thoughts as well. So this is going to take some time. Let's just go to the next unit. Let's click on next. Use RDP to connect to Windows Azure. So let's just walk through here while the deployment is ongoing. It's in progress now. Use RDP to connect to Windows Azure Virtual Machine. Like I said, RDP is a remote desktop, more like remote desktop connector, or a client that helps you to remotely connect to your VM. Now, our deployment is done. Okay, let's read about this. Now that we have a new Windows virtual machine, we need to install our custom software on it. Now, there are different ways whereby you can access it. You can use remote desktop, you can use custom script or custom VM image, right? But we are just working with RDP. So you can go ahead and read all this, right? Let's just connect to the Azure VM that we just created. The next one connects to the Azure VM. Yes, this is where we are now. Let's connect to the Azure VM. Now, there are different ways you can do this. You can connect using the public IP address, right? Now, because you are not in the same network, if let's say you are in an organization or you're in your company, then you can connect to a specific VM or a server using the private IP address. But since this is a cloud VM, we can't really connect using the private IP address unless we have site-to-site VPN configured. So we are going to use either the public IP address to connect, or we download the RDP file. So we are going to do the two on this project for the experience. Now, first we are going to use the RDP file. We're going to download the RDP file. So to do this, you just click on go to resource. So once your deployment is done, you can just click on go to resource. Click on go to resource, and then you look at this place. Now, if this place is showing maybe start here, that means you need to start it, right? Because currently our VM is on. That's why it's showing stop here and restart. So but we are not going to restart it. Now, if you read through all this, you're going to find all the information for this VM. You can find the region you used, whether it's running or stopped. You're going to see the resource groups that you used. You're going to find your name, the public IP address. You can use this to connect if you choose to. And several other information now. But what we are going to do, we are going to go to click on connect. Remember, all this walkthrough are here. You're going to click on connect now. Then you download the RDP file. You download the RDP file. Then, yes, I've just downloaded the RDP file and I'm about to connect to this virtual machine. But before we connect to this, let's do a bit of changes for the experience as well. Let's say we want to be able to communicate with the VM. When I mean communication, we don't want to do just connecting to it remotely. Let's say we want to be able to see your my computer C drive, or let's say the information on my computer, I want to be able to see it from the VM. So let me show you how to do this. The guide is also here. This is everything I just did. The guide to do this is also here. Let's find it. Now this is it. Download the RGB file and the connect. Know the IP address. We've done all this. Before we connect, let's adjust a few settings. Let's adjust a few settings now. Let's go to the RDP file we've downloaded now. If you go to the RDP file you've downloaded now, you right click on it. Depending on the Windows you are using, if you're using Windows 11, you might need to click on see more properties or see more. Then you go to properties. Hold on, sorry. You are going to click on edit instead, not properties, sorry. If you are using Windows 11, you're going to click on see more properties. Then you're going to find the edit there. Now what we are looking for is the edit. We want to modify this RDP file so we will be able to see our C drive once we connect to this virtual machine. Now this is what we are going to do. We are going to go to the display. If you want to adjust the display, you can choose to adjust it. Right now, I will advise you to tweak this as much as you can. After connecting, you can start again and connect again and tweak the settings and see the different outputs. This is where the experience comes in. You need to do this over and over and over again for you to understand it. Now let's use this. Then for the local resources, this is where you select your drive to be visible. You can click on drives. You want our drive to be visible. We want our drive to be visible, so we click on drives. Then for experience as well, do you have once you click on drive, you just click on OK. Then for the experience, I don't think we need to do anything much. You just need to be able to see our C drive, which you've done. This is all you just need to do. Then you come back to general and click on save. Now once you've clicked on save, you can then click on connect for it to connect to the virtual computer you've created. So it's time for us to see the result of our hard work. Right now, click on connect. It's going to ask for the password. So let's go over and copy out our password and connect to our virtual machine. You click on yes. Give some times. Give some time. And as you can see, our virtual machine is coming up. Our virtual machine is coming up. Now, once you've been able to do this, make sure you do it again and again and again. And this makes you very, very familiar with Microsoft Azure, which is an experience. Now, you no longer need a job to get this kind of experience. You are now doing it on your own. And like I said, if you keep on following my channel and you keep on coming back, the only time you get to know whether I've dropped a new post or not is if you turn on the post notification. So make sure you turn on post notifications, as every week I'll be dropping easy and free resources that you can do in cybersecurity. As you can see, this is a very easy project. It doesn't require you paying anything. It doesn't require you paying for subscription. It doesn't require you having a very strong PC. You can just go ahead and do it now. Let's once our VM is set up now, You can use the scroll because remember we've adjusted the screen resolution, which is why we are seeing this. So you just have to scroll down a bit. Now remember we made our drive visible. Now let me see if our drive is visible. Let's see if our drive is visible. We click on the File Explorer. Meanwhile, for every time you've done a VM, you're going to see this server manager. Now, this server manager is basically where you configure all your Active Directory, you configure password policies, and a whole lot of things. And these are the subsequent projects we are still going to work together on this channel. So make sure your post notification is on. So let's check if our drive is showing. Now go to this PC, and as you can see, this is my computer. This right here is my personal computer. You can see all the files I have on my personal computer. So I can choose to install an application from here. I can choose to copy and paste some files from here. I can choose to do anything I want from here. So that is it for this particular project. You can go ahead and walk around the server manager and do whatever you like. Now let me show you again how to connect to this. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. Let me show you how to connect to this using the public IP address. Now we've learned how to connect to this using the RDP file. Now let's learn how to connect to it using the public address. So let's go ahead and copy the public IP address. Now on your computer, you're going to look for RDP. It comes with any Windows computer. Then you're going to type the paste or type, depending on whichever one you want. You can just type the public IP address and click on connect. Now let's see. As you can see, it's connecting. Now let's copy our password again and paste, and let's see what happens. You select yes. You've successfully connected to our VM. As you can see, this is the IP address here. If you can read it, this is the IP address. And if I minimize it, you can see my computer here. This is the VM. Remote desktop connection. So this is a very good experience to have on your CV. This is basically running a full-time computer, but it's now running on cloud. It's now running on cloud. So you can choose to do whatever you like, download, work on different things. If you are doing anything heavy, you just play around here. And most especially play around the server manager and tend to get to understand better about server manager and Active Directory. Go to tools and play around with this, and these are the things I'm still going to show us on this channel. So we are done with this. Let's go back to I think this is everything. Now, once you are done with this documentation, you can also share the certificate on LinkedIn. Let's just click on next, and clean up. Remember to clean up if you want to, because this is a sandbox. Even if you don't clean it up, it will clean up by itself. But if you are working with a subscription, please be sure that you stop your VM or you clean it up. If not, they are going to charge you a whole lot of money. But then this is just sandbox, so they will clean it up for you even when you don't clean even when you don't clean it up. So you can just go ahead and answer all this. Now I'm not going to focus on all this. I just need to get to the end. Now click on complete module, and you're going to get a certification for completion. So you can choose to share it on LinkedIn or on X, on Facebook. You copy the link if you want to. Then you can choose to mail it however that you want to do it. Now that we've completed this project, I'm going to show you how to add this on your CV. Now, let's take a look at our CV. Now, once again, before we start, I've added links to all of this, link to everything you need. I'll still update this link and add it to the YouTube bio. This is the blog. Now, in the blog, let me quickly show you. In the blog, you're going to find the write-up on what we just did. This is all the write up on what we just did. And if you want to do it outside of the sandbox, also in the blog, you're going to find a link to do it on actual Microsoft Learn accounts. This one you can choose to build whatever you like or whatever you want to build. Now, once you've done this the link for creating the VM in Microsoft Azure. Now, we are now talking about doing it outside of the sandbox. Now, no 1 hour time limitation. There is no issues or instructions on what you need to strictly follow. You just need to do it as much as you want and twerk it as however you like now. And also, like I said, you need money to do this, but then if you don't have any money, then there is also a link here on how to activate the student account. Now, even if you're not a student and maybe your brother is a student, then your brother can sign up and you can share the account with your brother just to get hands on. I'm just using that as an instance, but then this is the link. If you're a student, basically, when I say if you're a student, if you have an email address that has .edu, then basically you just need to use it and verify. I also added a link on how to get free Azure credits and subscription. You just add it, then you're going to get $200 in Azure credits now. With this, you can build whatever you want. You can do as many projects because we plan on doing various projects in this channel. So definitely you're going to need Azure credits now. You can, and if you're not a student, you can also use the Azure free trial. You will not be charged during the trial period. You can also use the Azure free trial for this now. I think this is everything for the blog. Now let's go back to the now this is basically how your cybersecurity project CV is going to look like once you complete doing this project. Basically, these are all the skills you are going to learn. You're going to learn how to deploy Windows Server, you're going to implement RDP, you're going to design and apply custom network security group rules and NSG rules. You're going to configure premium SSD storage. You're going to implement Azure Monitor Alerts. Now, basically, these are all the skills that employers are looking for, and they need someone that can demonstrate this. They need someone that can demonstrate this, and if you're able to do this, and then, like I said, I'm going to show you how to do this, and that's what I'm showing you now. Once you're able to do this, but then please don't just copy and paste this on your CV because probably have more than 10,000 people watching this video. So I wouldn't want 10,000 of you to have the exact same wording on your CV. So if you're adding this, make sure you change it a bit, especially if you're doing this project together with me. Make sure you change it a bit so it won't look exactly the same as 10,000 other people, maybe 100,000 other people, depending on how many people are watching this video now. So make sure you tweak it a bit, and for here you can just add a hyperlink so that they can easily click on this and it will lead them to where you did the project. Now, what do I mean where you did the project? Now, putting this on your CV might not be enough because they might need, okay, show me. If you said you did this, show me now. There are different ways you can do this. You can either choose to write a blog just like I did and add screenshots. You can choose to add a blog just like I did and you add screenshots. Now if they read it, they will know that yes, you truly did this. You're going to write about how you did this. You can choose to write it on LinkedIn, you can choose to write it on Medium, or you can also choose to record yourself while doing it. Record your screen while doing it and post it on LinkedIn. That's also good. You post it on LinkedIn, then write a brief description of what you do, and you're going to probably, and if you tag me, I'm going to engage on your post, right? Because if I engage on your post, you're going to get much more views, right? If you tag me, then I'm going to engage on your post, then 60,000 other people, because I have 60,000 and more subscribers, probably more, because I know some people might be watching this video in 2026, but then probably more. probably more. And if you tag me, I'm going to engage with your post. So you can choose to do a screen record and post on LinkedIn. Then on your CV, you can just add the hyperlink, and if your employers want to see what you really did, they can just click on this since it's a hyperlink and it will lead them there. Now, this is just how my CV looks like. As you can see, this is a dummy CV. So, should in case you don't have an idea of how to structure a CV, maybe you can use this, and probably depending on the certifications you have, you can put your certified in cybersecurity XZ900. Maybe you've done IBM or maybe Google cybersecurity. I don't know the ones you have. I just thought of basic certifications and added them here. So you can just put these, and maybe if you don't have any experience session, you just write cybersecurity projects, and trust me, they are going to be impressed. They are going to be very much impressed, and you have better chances at getting a job. So like I said, now if you do it this way, the title: Azure Virtual Machine Deployment and Cloud Security Lab. Technologies used: you use Microsoft Azure, of course. You use the Azure portal. You use the Azure portal because we have the Azure portal, we have the Azure CLI, we have different interfaces. Now we use the Azure portal for this, we use the Azure Sandbox for this. Then Windows Server 2019, we also do some networking on Azure. Then we use NSGs and RDP, then Azure Monitor. These are the experiences and the skills you've gained. And now imagine when you work on 5 other projects like this and just list them out. Right now, this can only be possible if you are subscribed to my channel. If you are subscribed to my channel, because that's just the only way you can stay updated on various cybersecurity projects. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you've subscribed to my channel and you've liked my videos, right? And also comment. It's very important that you comment on projects that you want me to do. Very, very important. It's very important that you comment and tell me, okay, please, can you work on this project? Because I'm probably thinking of a whole lot of things that you might need. So if you have any project ideas in mind that you want me to work on, let me know in the comment section. And if you're confused about any of the projects that we've been working on, make sure you send me a message. You drop a comment. Make sure you drop a comment on YouTube, because I'm always like actively checking the comment sections on my YouTube. So, and I will respond to you. Make sure you drop a comment on YouTube, then I will respond to you. Then if you find this engaging, please make sure you like this video and you share it as well, because that's the only way I can keep doing this. But if I keep doing this and I'm not getting lots of views, then I will assume that you don't like this channel and you don't like this content. Then I'm going to stop doing cybersecurity projects and shift to another thing. So if you want me to continue doing cybersecurity projects and free cybersecurity resources, make sure that you are commenting on me and telling me, okay, you've done this is how it's going. If you've been able to do yours, you let me know in the comment section as well that I've been able to do mine and it's been going great. And that's the only way that I would know that yes, I'm actually imparting in you. Now, I don't know if I need to, if there is any other thing that you need from me as regard this, or any information that I'm missing out on, make sure you let me know on the comment section. And like always, I love you guys so much. I love everybody that is watching my video. Please, again, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and then comment about cybersecurity project or free resources. If you want a particular cybersecurity voucher, let me know and I will find it for you and do a video on it. So thanks so much everybody for watching. See you in the next video.